Hey everybody, it's Aaron Ford, Nevada Attorney General here in Reno, having a great conversation about educational policy and issues. And I'm joined with Calen, the president of the Washoe Education Association. So glad to have you here, sir. Thank you for the work that you guys do, and thank you so much for your support in this endeavor. I'm a former educator myself, as you know, and I know teachers talk and teachers help each other. Talk to me a little bit about what you're hearing right now in the schools. What are teachers telling you some of the issues and concerns are?
Yeah, I say one of the biggest issues that we face in Nevada is the chronic overcrowding in our classrooms, right? Nevada has the largest class sizes in the country, and that's not just for teachers, right? Our counselors have some of the largest caseloads in the country, and class size is not only impactful in terms of learning conditions, but it's extremely impactful for working conditions. And so, in order for us to provide the types of, you know, individualized attention that our students deserve, we have to reduce the class sizes because it's just not feasible to provide that sort of level of instruction and support for such a wide variety when you have such large class sizes.
Yeah, you know, that's been a recurring problem for years. I was actually talking to some of your colleagues in Clark County last week, a counselor, in fact, who was telling me about the ratio is almost twice, 2 to 1 where it's supposed to be right now in the schools. And so understand that. So, talk to me about some of the things that you're doing to fight right now to improve some of those circumstances.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we have to be able to attract and retain, right? I think we put a lot of focus on how do we attract folks into the profession, which is important, but we can attract our way out of this issue. We have to be able to retain quality educators, and so we do that right through a number of ways. And part of it is pay, part of it is the benefits and supports, but a lot of it is looking at what's the workload, right? We know that schools more and more are being asked to do more and more with less and less, and at the same time that burden is being put on the shoulders of our educators, right? And so we need to be able to not only say, everybody talks about taking things off of the educator's plate, but we keep adding more on, and it's just not feasible. And so we really need to be able to sort of clear some of that red tape to allow educators to do what they really love, which is connecting with their students.
Well, look, let me just cut right to the chase and ask you this. Do you think our current governor, Joe Lombardo, is doing a good job at advocating for teachers and educators here in Washoe County and across the state?
Well, I think if you just look at this last legislative session, in our district alone, we cut nearly $30 million from our budget, right? And that was because of a stagnant funding bill that came through, right? When you're cutting up to close to $30 million over 2 years, right? That is going to impact services. That's going to impact staff, and that's the work we're doing for students. And so, if we don't have a budget that at the baseline can keep up with cost of living and the funds needed to operate, right? We don't have anywhere else to cut. We're going to have to start cutting staff, which is going to impact those already largest class sizes in the country, right? We don't have a lot of room to wiggle there. And so, yeah, I would say that that's a major issue, and we cannot continue to keep seeing that.
Well, listen, you've heard people say before that your budget is your priority. And when you present a budget that only provides a $2 increase per pupil expenditure year over year, that shows you where a real priority is. Last question for you. What would you like to see your next governor prioritize when it comes to schools and education?
Yeah, as you alluded to, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we have to prioritize where we put our money, right? And understanding that it's not, when we have some of the largest class sizes, one of the lowest funding metrics in the entire country, right? There's only so much we can do with so little. And we do have districts that are really trying to maximize every dollar to put it towards students. But at the end of the day, there's only so much you can do with that, right? And so I think if we start to address those issues systemically, then we have to have something that's sustainable, right? Nevada ebbs and flows from an economy standpoint. We don't have the type of secure structured funding that we really need around education. And then if we can start to do that, that will allow us to attract and retain, which then can allow us to reduce class sizes and provide more supports. And then I think ultimately we really need to look at how are we engaging students beyond just the traditional core content areas, right? Like kids need to enjoy coming to school, right? And so we need to continue to expand vocational. We need to expand types of learning environments that really target all students, and not just some of the core content areas that we really get hyper focused on.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and I will say to you what I've said time and time again. I have a great appreciation for what teachers do, not only because I was a teacher, but because I know that that's where a lot of the work really takes place. And I have great respect for what it is that you do. Not many professions out there where people who are not in their profession think that they can do a better job in their profession. I trust you. I trust your profession, and I want you to know that you have in me an advocate, and I'm grateful to you for your support.
We thank you.